Now that we have looked at what Project Loon basically is, we are going to focus on the organizational and societal benefits of Project Loon in India, especially in the rural areas. In order to analyze the potential opportunities and challenges associated with the implementation of Project Loon in rural India, we need to look at what the rural scenario currently is. About 69% of India's population is currently living in rural areas. 86% of that population earns less than $2 a day. The situation is so bad that only about 0.33% have reached graduation level and most of them don't have basic education. So how can information technology help in bettering the situation in rural India? Information technology is increasingly moving to the core of national competitiveness strategies around the world. IT has empowered individuals with unprecedented access to information and knowledge with important consequences in terms of providing education, access to markets, doing business, and social interactions among others. Project Loon means Internet for Everybody, which includes rural India. Project Loon has several possible applications in rural India. One of them could be e-commerce, that is agricultural produce related and other applications. Potential for online and real-time inventory management systems for small and medium enterprises and cooperatives. There are several education opportunities waiting to be explored like distance learning, ease of accessibility to course content, more efficient GPS and navigation systems which could really help us in rescue operations. Some of the most important applications of Project Loon are probably an improved healthcare system and improved banking systems in rural India. Given the poor state of these two systems in the rural area today, for the scope of our project, we have decided to concentrate on the potential of these two applications, that is an improved healthcare system and an improved banking system in rural India.
Let us now look at the current scenario of rural healthcare system. According to a report by the United Nations, 75% of the health infrastructure in India, including doctors, specialists, and other health resources, is concentrated in urban areas where only 27% of India's population. There exists a high level of disparity in healthcare indicators in the urban and rural population. As can be seen from the table, the infant mortality rate is very high in rural India. The neonatal mortality rate and the perinatal mortality rate are also very high. This shows that the healthcare sector in rural India needs to be taken care of.
Perhaps the most promising opportunity of all is telemedicine. Telemedicine is the use of information technology and telecommunication in order to provide remote clinical healthcare. Telemedicine can be used to save lives in critical healthcare and emergency situations. It can improve access to medical services in distant rural communities. Let us now look at telemedicine in a little detail. Telemedicine, as is clear from the diagram here, brings the power of information technology and communication technology to the medical sciences and biomedical engineering for the benefit of those living in remote areas. Given the inadequate infrastructure in rural hospitals and the low availability of health experts in such remote hospitals, telemedicine is ideal for Indian rural market. Telemedicine, as you can see from this picture here, can provide a lot of benefits to the rural hospitals. You can see in the picture that the district hospital is taking help from the specialty hospitals which are situated at faraway locations through the help of probably teleconferencing and similar options. Thus, the benefit and advice of specialist doctors and specialist facilities can be brought to the rural areas without actually being present there. So as you have seen, telemedicine provides a large amount of benefits for the rural community. Rural communities can get access to timely and quality specialty medical care. There can be a reduction in the rural and urban divide in the delivery of medical care. Telemedicine brings improved diagnostics and treatment facilities in rural areas. The mitigation of obstacles due to geographical isolation is also possible because of telemedicine. And additionally, providing continuous medical education and training to healthcare professionals working in rural and remote areas is one of the major benefits of telemedicine.
Now that we've got a brief
overview of how internet and Project Loon can be advantageous for healthcare sectors in rural parts of India. Let's move on to banking. Let us understand what is the scenario of banks in rural India. Over 15,000 rural banks in the country are located in remote rural areas that are far from the places where people actually reside. A high population of rural India lends money from informal sources. About 600 million people in India do not have a bank account. The current demand for credit in rural India is around almost 133,000 crores. And commercial banks cover only 7% of rural sector, and large market is still untapped. With all these statistics and figures, we can see that there is a huge potential of growth of banks in rural India. One of the low-cost banking services provided using internet and IT will be kiosk banking. So what is a kiosk bank exactly? Kiosk banking includes aesthetically and ergonomically designed cabins containing computers equipped with necessary security conditions for wage disbursement with fingerprint authentication and local language interface. Can be done just with the help of an internet facility and a small infrastructure, which won't cost much to the banks. Using internet and banking services, the government can directly transfer funds to the labor accounts. E-governance model will be more popular and people friendly, and it will empower the poorest of labor to access their rights. Cost per transaction will be way too less than compared to setting up a branch in the village, with the use of this improved technology, and hence provide better services to the rural areas. Plus, geographical distance will not be a barrier anymore because internet connectivity brings people closer. So these were certain advantages that low-cost internet will provide the banks as well as the people from rural India to connect with each other and build value.
As we have seen the advantages of Project Loon in banking and healthcare sector in rural society, there are other advantages which one needs to look before getting to a judgment. Apart from being internet connection for everyone, it is an eco-friendly initiative. Compared to environmental loss occurred in laying down of cables and manufacturing them, Project Loon is much more eco-friendly technology. Various technologies which would be developed on Project Loon will improve the standard of living of people and in a way would increase the per capita GDP and also total GDP of the country. Due to the amount of information received, people will not only be well earned but also be well earned. Project Loon can act as a point of safety contact during natural disaster, wherein people would get information and which would facilitate the rescue missions. But this particular technology also has few challenges. One of the major challenges being it a new technology, due to which the amount of risk associated with it is bit on a higher side. Also, creating public awareness will be an issue, wherein how to educate a person about the product will be a challenge. Also, bad and stormy weather might affect the communication signal, but this would be improvised over a period of time. Since this is a wireless technology, it would be a serious threat to existing telecom service providers and internet service providers. For penetration in India, Google needs to get spectrum allocation from Government of India, and new norms would be set which would take some time before implementation. Also, there is a challenge of who is going to regulate this particular technology. Maybe in India it would be TARI would be an optimum choice, but being a different technology from the traditional ones, government might set up a new body. As of now, Google has not mentioned much about authorization of a user and authentication of data, but we are quite sure Google would definitely take care of it.
Thus, we can see that Project Loon is a great initiative for Google. It has revolutionized the way we perceive internet. Now, internet availability is no longer going to be available at selected corners of the country, but at each and every corner of the country. Though the project is in the pilot phase and is of great risk, but risk is worth taking.
Me, everyone.